with advocating for yourself. Maybe you were presented with an opportunity. Maybe you were presented with a huge opportunity and you found yourself struggling with being able to advocate for yourself without feeling really bad or guilty about it. Well, this video is just for you. I'm going to share with you a secret. Now, I do want to say there are many, many secrets to advocating for yourself, but I want to give you something to think about as relates to this topic. So the next time when you are in a situation as a leader where you need to advocate for yourself as it relates to perhaps increasing your salary, increasing your visibility, or being assigned larger projects, you do not feel so timid or so worried about feeling bad for asking for something or showcasing your skills. Now, I want to give a special shout out to Chaz, Man of Culture, for asking a question about having a part two to this video. If you are new to me or you are one of my amazing subscribers, this channel heavily focuses in on advanced communication skills and strategies. And yesterday we talked very briefly about how to advocate for yourself without feeling guilty. So if you want to get a bit more information on that, you can watch the video that I recorded yesterday. But let me give you a secret, a couple secrets, as many as I can with the time that I have, that will help you be able to advocate for yourself without feeling so guilty. We talked a lot yesterday. In a short amount of time, I uncovered a lot of things that cause people to feel uncomfortable or feel like they or feel bad for advocating for themselves. I want to know though, before I go into the secret, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever felt just guilty, just bad about asking or advocating for yourself? Put in the comments below. One of the things I'm going to pick up where we left off yesterday. One of the aspects of advocating for yourself is to gather data. Think about yourself in terms of what are some successes you've accomplished, bring some data or statistics around that, and be able to articulate your value. Now, I'm going to go into it a step further. The secret I want to share with you today is that many cultures, many individuals are taught as they are growing up not to advocate for themselves. How many of you were told when you were kids, don't brag about yourself, bragging's not good, you don't want to come across as being arrogant or anything like that? Has it happened to you? Has it? This is something that happens very often in many cultures. And before I go into this a bit more, I want to say hello and welcome to those of you watching the live today. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. And have you ever struggled with feeling guilty? Feeling guilty when you try to advocate for yourself? Put it in the comments below. Many cultures are taught not to advocate for themselves. I want to say hello to Sid of Vion. I hope I said it correctly, friend. So many cultures are taught not to advocate for themselves. They're taught not to brag. And this is something that is ingrained in us as children. Don't brag about yourself. Don't talk about yourself, and etc. So what happens as adults, as we grow into adults and as we grow into leaders, that learning that we had as it relates to not bragging, don't talk about yourself, it still stays here. Even though we've grown, even though we've advocated for ourselves, it still stays here. And it will prevent you from being able to advance and advocate for yourself without feeling guilty. This is a secret. A lot of people don't talk about it. They'll tell you the logistics of it, right? I want to say hello to SOS123 YT. Hello, how you doing today? And a lot of people will struggle with this because they just simply have some innate ability to limit the things that they're doing. So let's see. SOS123YT says, what are you talking about exactly? We're talking about how to advocate for yourself without feeling guilty. That's what we're talking about today. Now, as I mentioned, many people this is just what have been trained to do. They've been trained not to talk a lot about themselves and etc. So this is the secret. Many people don't talk about that. They'll tell you, you need to say this, you need to say that. And I do the same. I tell you a lot of things that you can say to advocate for yourself. But really, what's the reason why you're not advocating for yourself? Sometimes it could be the way you were raised. Sometimes it can be just the fact that you don't know what to say. And oftentimes what I found that happens that even when somebody may be in a situation where they know exactly what it is they want to say, they have it all in their mind. They know exactly what they want to say, how they want to say it. When they actually say it, they literally can't say it. Has this happened to you before? What I see happen a lot of times with women in leadership, I've seen this sometimes with men in leadership as well, is that you will have everything ready to go, but you just can't say it. You can't bring yourself to say, I need to ask for more money, or I need to ask to be on a bigger project. I need to ask for this. I need to ask for that. And another secret I want to share with you is that when you know you're having that big conversation that's coming up, take some time to practice or rehearse this conversation. I would highly suggest you doing this in front of a mirror. So you could do this in any setting. You could record yourself doing this or having this conversation, or practicing what you're saying. And this is a public speaking secret I'm sharing with you. Even though we're talking about advocating for yourself, many of you know that I talk about public speaking and how it can completely change your life if you master it in your everyday conversations. So public speaking is important. And if you practice what you're going to say, it helps to start reminding your mind that, oh, I have something to say. Keep practicing, keep rehearsing it. The fact that you are looking, almost mirroring yourself to say, this is exactly what you want to say to someone if you need to advocate for more money and more salary, or increased visibility. You are basically building up your confidence so that when that time comes, you've already done a couple things that I talked about in my video yesterday, but you've also taken some time to gather your data, talk about how amazing you are, things I talked about yesterday. But now you're at a point where you understand why you may struggle with advocating for yourself, and you have a realistic way for you to practice. Practice talking to yourself, advocating, stating what it is that you want to say. I need more money. I'd like to get an increase, and etc. and all of that. And it will help to start build up your confidence when it comes down to that time when you need to advocate for yourself. Let me go to the chat really quickly. SOS123 YT says that's also basically like a, let's see. Yes. So what was said is that it's basically like a homeless person saying, "I have $5, but can I have one more dollar?" That's basically what you're saying. Well, so to a certain extent, yes. I mean, you have to be able to have that confidence to advocate for yourself, because we're taught not to. I'm reading different books. I'm reading The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And one of the things he mentions, and I just want to share this with you because I'm reading the book and I have a couple books on, is that one of the biggest issues that people face as entrepreneurs like myself and business owners is that obscurity is your biggest issue. So many times you don't feel comfortable talking about yourself. How is anyone going to know how amazing you are, and how are you going to be able to advocate for yourself for those bigger projects, and etc.? It's going to be hard to do. So being confident in terms of talking about yourself, not necessarily to the point where you're being arrogant. There's a balance there. We may talk about that a little bit later this afternoon when I go live, but being able to feel more confident talking about yourself, your successes, the things you've accomplished, will help you get into a place where you feel a lot more comfortable advocating for yourself. With any of the skills I share with you on this channel that relate to being able to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure, it all comes down to practice. You have to do this every single day. There's going to be situations that come up that are going to catch you off guard, but knowing how to navigate those situations, what to say, how to say it, when to say it, that is why you subscribe to the channel, to learn all of that information. If you happen to be a woman in leadership and you are struggling with advocating for yourself, then you absolutely want to contact me for my high stakes communication intensive that will completely change your life in terms of how you communicate. Okay, let me finish up with the chat really quickly before we end the live. SOS123YT says, I'm kind of confused. Okay, I saw your previous comment, so I hope that gives you some insight in terms of what I'm talking about. Yes, advocating for yourself in that format in terms of what you're saying is also important as well. Alexis0988, welcome, welcome. And SOS123YT says, I bet you'd be a very good lawyer. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually a doctor, but I have spent a lot of my time working over the past 20 years with different congressional leaders and reading pieces of legislation and etc. So even though I am not a lawyer, I have some decent knowledge of the law and reading legislation and how to navigate all those things. So I hope this gives you some information to help you on the journey. If you really want to learn how to communicate more confidently and concisely under pressure, this is the best channel. This is the only channel you'll need to be at on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I do go live here at least 7 times a week and interact and support you all here. I appreciate Chaz in the future for this topic or wanting to learn more about the topic, and I will see you on the next video. SOS123YT says I'll sub. Well, fantastic. Welcome to the amazing group of leaders, SOS, and I look forward to engaging with you soon. Bye for now.